Hello and welcome to Prof's GWeb Classroom for Macroeconomics. In this video, we shall try to understand the quantity theory of money that explains the relationship between the supply of money, the value of money, and the price level. Well, the quantity theory states that the quantity of money is the major determinant for the price level and the value of money or the purchasing power. Any change in the quantity of money produces an exactly proportionate change in the price level. Other things remaining constant as the quantity of money in circulation increases, the price level is also believed to increase in direct proportion. And the value of money or the purchasing power decreases and vice versa. The quantity theory of money hence explains that there's a direct relationship between the quantity of money in the economy and the prices of goods and services. Let's understand this, that any increase in the supply of money will lead to an increase in the demand for goods and services, which will lead to a demand pull inflation, resulting in the rise in prices of goods and services. On the other hand, any increase in the supply of money will affect inversely its value. To understand this, let's take money as a commodity. Just like an increase in the demand for any commodity leads to an increase in its prices, and on the other hand, any increase in the supply of a commodity results in the fall in the prices. Let's take money as a commodity. And if the supply of money increases, it leads to a fall in its value or the purchasing power. Now, connecting the two equations together, we understand that any increase in the supply of money will increase the demand for goods and services and thereby increasing the prices of goods and services. On the other hand, with the rise in the prices of goods and services, the value of money or the purchasing power will fall. To understand this, let's understand the quantity theory of money equation, which is MV is equal to PT. Now, in MV, M stands for the money supply and V stands for the velocity or the frequency of money in circulation, frequency at which the money changes hands. And P stands for the average price level and T stands for the total volume of transactions made for goods and services. Now, this equation is built on the equation of exchange, and it believes that the amount of money multiplied by the velocity of circulation should equal the total spending within an economy. The quantity theory of money therefore forms the cornerstone of monetarism, which believes that inflation depends upon how much money the government prints or how much money comes into the economy for circulation. A rapid increase in the money supply causes a rapid increase in prices, called inflation, and a fall in its value, called the purchasing power. Monetarists say that money supply should be kept within a bandwidth that controls inflation. And that's why monetary policy plays a very, very important role in macroeconomics. Now, to understand the whole phenomena again, let's take this diagram with the value of the supply of money on the x-axis, the volume of money in the economy on x-axis, and the price level and the value of money on the y-axis respectively in the two diagrams. Now, in the panel A, we find that there's a direct relationship between the quantity of money and the price level, which means that any increase in the quantity of money in circulation within an economy will lead to a rise in the prices due to an increased demand for goods and services. Whereas in panel B, we find that there's an inverse relationship between the quantity of money in the economy and its value, that is the purchasing power, which means that any increase in the quantity of money in circulation with the economy will lead to a rise in prices and thereby a fall in its purchasing power or the value of money. Hence, taking both the variables on the y-axis, the price level and value of money together individually, we can find that there exists an inverse relationship between value of money and the price level. Any increase in the prices leads to a fall in value of money and vice versa. Now, to take a comprehensive view of this, let's understand how the demand and supply of money within an economy affects the equilibrium and hence the price level and the value of money. So here in this diagram on the x-axis we find the quantity of money in circulation, which is a result of the equilibrium or the intersection between the demand and supply for money. Whereas on the left hand of the y-axis, left side y-axis, we find the value of money, and on the right hand y-axis we find the price level. Now, the diagram very clearly focuses that when the quantity of money in circulation is low, the value of money is high and the prices are low. because the demand for goods and services perhaps is lower in that case. And as the quantity of money in the market increases, which is because of the increase in the demand for money, the prices of goods and services rise, and there's a fall in the value of money. So the inverse relationship between price level and value of money is very clearly visible in this diagram. So the value of money, as discussed, is ultimately determined by the intersection of money supply and money demand. Now, the money supply is affected by the central bank, which through its interest rates and bank rates and various other instruments of monetary policy affects the supply of money in the market, whereas the money demand is created by consumers or the government through its spending. The intersection of money supply curve and the money demand curve shows both the equilibrium, and this equilibrium affects the value of money and the price level. The value of money, as revealed by the money market, is variable, and a change in money demand or change in the money supply will yield a change in the price level and the value of money. So we notice here that the change in the value of money and the change in price level are in opposite directions, which shows the inverse relationship between the two. Now let's look at another diagram where we talk about an increase in the supply of money by, let's say, the Reserve Bank. So in this diagram, the money supply, which is shown as static at a particular point in time, or constant at a particular point of time, because the supply remains constant in the short run generally. So if there's an increase in the supply of money, that means the new equilibrium, which is the intersection between demand and supply of money, changes and moves to a higher side towards the right. And so any increase in the quantity of money will lead to an increase in the rise in the prices of goods and services, hence an increase in the price level, and on the contrary, a fall in the value of money. So which clearly brings out the quantity theory of money, which says that any increase in the supply of money will have a direct relationship with the price level and inverse relationship with the value of money in circulation. With the value of money. So with an increase in the money supply, we notice that there's a new intersection in the money supply curve and the money demand curve on the right side, or a lower value of money and a higher price level. This happens because when more money is in circulation, the currency becomes less worthy, as you have to pay more and more money to buy goods and services because of the rise in demand. And hence inflation affects the value of money. It takes more to purchase goods and services, and thus the price level increases accordingly, thereby reducing the value of money. The quantity theory of money is based directly on the changes brought about by an increase in the money supply. The quantity theory of money states that the value of money is based on the amount of money in the economy. Thus, according to the QTM theory, when the central bank increases the money supply, the value of money falls and the price of goods and services rises. Hence, the banks have to be very careful during inflationary pressures, and that's why they use a contractionary policy or a contractionary monetary policy when there is inflation in the economy. Since inflation is defined as an increase in the price level, based on this definition, the QTM theory also states that the growth in money supply is the primary cause of inflation. With an increase in the money supply, we notice that the new intersection between the money supply and the money demand curve was at a lower point, which also explained that any increase in the supply of money will have a direct effect on the demand for goods and services, and people would buy more goods and services, and the value of money would fall. Whereas any contraction in the supply of money will take the equilibrium to the lower side of quantity supplied, and this will result in a higher value of money because money will become more dearer with lesser supply, and a fall in the consumer demand resulting in fall in prices. So this is how the money supply affects the two factors, the price level and the value of money. That's all for now, and let's hope this brings out clearly the concept of quantity theory of money and the interrelationship between the supply of money or the quantity of money in the economy and the two factors of the value of money and the price level. All the very best. See you soon in the next video.